Good morning and welcome to Thoughts and Updates. Here I am, still at home, still attempting to apply the rules that have been relaxed up in Scotland, but not as much as they've been relaxed in England and other parts of England where we have seen a spike in the number of infections. So perhaps they came out of lockdown too early, perhaps they didn't. Time will tell, but unfortunately the only way to tell whether or not they have or they haven't is to do with people dying, people getting infected, and some of the heart-breaking stories this week of people who have ended up being very unwell, ending up in comas and so on, should bring us to a very swift form of attention over all this and know that we are facing a very deadly killer illness that if we don't take care about, our loved ones will be the next to join the legions of people, the thousands throughout the world who have succumbed to it. So here I am at home. Yesterday we did go out and we did go on a visit to Granny Beth's because it's also important to remember that people's mental health require to be fed judiciously and nutritiously, and that is one of the ways in which it's better to do it. I've got kids that I haven't seen for over 2 months, and it's tough at times, and I'll be trying to get hold of them on FaceTime today, tomorrow, and trying to increase my FaceTime contact with them. But, you know, my youngest is 12. She has a heart condition. I'm diabetic. It's tough to get through to people sometimes, just exactly what those things actually mean. So, here we go. This week, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Of course, all lives matter. Nobody said they didn't. But this week we've seen a little bit of the kickback. A few friends of mine have posted the All Lives Matter stuff up because that's what they believe. And I'm not going to denounce them or shake my head or whatever, but Black Lives Matter. Of course, all lives matter. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson hit it absolutely on the head on his post that he put out. But let me add to what he said. And if you want to know what he said, go and find it. Go and educate yourself and go and find something, because it's important. Black Lives Matter for a very simple reason. Saying that all lives matter is an answer. It is a bit like saying all houses matter, but don't send the fire engines down to number 25 when it's on fire, because, you know, that's unfair on the other houses. Or all trees matter. But let's not campaign against the deforestation of the rainforest, because that's unfair on the other trees. Give yourself a shake. Nobody's saying that all lives don't matter. People are saying that right now, within Scotland, within England, within the United Kingdom, within Great Britain, within the United States, within the world, there is less of a concern over how we police and treat people of colour. And the poet Benjamin Zephaniah, I put up What If, the poem by him, which wasn't written directly after his cousin was murdered in the back of a police car, a British police car, with somebody, a policeman, having his foot upon his neck until he asphyxiated and died. But that's his experience of being in Britain. And I see on Facebook this morning somebody who is a Scot who is putting up that his experience of being a black person in Glasgow. He's still alive, but many of the things that people have posted in terms of their experience as a black and minority ethnic person has been exactly what led to the likes of the death of George Floyd. Institutionalised racism, a community that won't confront it. Time to confront it. I'll take any day of the week. I'll certainly take any until such times as people who are black and minority and ethnic are telling us that they are treated with fairness in all cases. I think I'll be on my knees for a long, long time. And it's also important, I can't remember who said it, but I remember it being talked about during a Brechtian play that we did at college. And the quote is not exactly this. One of the reasons I think that Black Lives Matter right now is that when we see injustice and we see something wrong, we should stand up against it. And why? Because as the quote said, and I'm paraphrasing, and this is not absolutely accurate, when they came for the Jews, I didn't complain because I wasn't Jewish. When they came for all the gypsies or the travellers, I didn't complain because I wasn't a traveller. When they came for the trade unionists, I didn't complain because I wasn't a trade unionist. When they came for the gays and the homosexuals, I didn't complain because I wasn't gay. I wasn't a homosexual. When they came for the coloureds, I didn't complain because I wasn't coloured. But when they came for me, there was nobody left to complain. So, time to stand up and kneel. If that's not an oxymoron or a paradox, I don't matter. What matters is what's right. And I was exceptionally proud this week because my youngest, Keris, put up the black square on her social media. She's 12. I never told her to do that. I never expressed an opinion to her about all of this. And it's not, I'm not going to claim it's because she's been brought up right or her parents have been great and fantastic. But if a 12-year-old child is able to spot something so bleeding obvious. Anyway, this week has also been about writing and getting back into it in a big way. So, stuck up a few reviews this week. Fatbaws, Peter Mullen, the man who made He's a Cuddle sound like a threat on one of the Channel 4 programmes he did, was on. And I never wanted to see Peter Mullen going for a dump, but hey ho. It's in the National Theatre of Scotland's Scenes for Survival. I also started watching Akela's Ruins of Empire last night, which I'll finish off because I wasn't concentrating well enough and it was saying a lot of really deep-seated stuff. And I've got a Manchester one to watch, hopefully today or tomorrow, from their home programme. Also wrote this week for the Scottish Football Supporters Association about the coming back of football, and football is due to start training and due to come back. In England it's in June, obviously they're a little ahead of us. Dave McCormack, the Chief Executive Officer of Greenock Morton, is talking about behind closed door games in October. We're talking about Sky installing cameras in Championship. Pardon me, grounds, whichever Championship clubs there are going to be. There's another suggestion this last week from Rangers that the Colt teams from Rangers and Celtic go into the bottom leagues, and up come Cove Rangers and Brora Rangers and Kelty Hearts into the lower league, and a restructuring of everything into 3 leagues, 14, 14, 18 I think it is, which will allow the Colt teams in. I've never been that particularly in favour of the Colt teams being part of the league structure, but do you know something, see if it brings a bit of innovation to Scottish football, a bit of change, I'll go for it. Andy Halliday said during the week that Rangers would have caught Celtic, and Chris Sutton, with beautiful understatement, just said, "I love Andy," in his tweet. So I used that this week for my scurrilous little thing, a football anonymous meeting in Govan, which I really enjoy doing these. I find it quite fun. What I also enjoy is when I've set a bit of a challenge from Ringside Report and Brad. So this week, Leotis Martin, a fighter who ended up fighting at heavyweight, and his last fight was the fight that he was defined for, and that was really important this last week because of another fighter from the way past in my article for Talking Boys called Full Stop. And the fight that Leotis Martin is remembered for is his very last fight. He beat Sonny Liston for the NABF title, the very first to hold an NABF heavyweight title. In fact, I think he's the first to hold an NABF, North American Boxing Federation title, which are still going now. And it was in 1969. This was a guy who, about 3 or 4 times in his career, he got close to getting something, and then bad luck just stripped it from him. And he beat Sonny Liston, who was still a massive heavyweight. He'd fought 14 times after being defeated by Ali the second time, won 13 of those by knockout, but won all 14. Not people of note, people of any kind of decent record, but 14 wins nonetheless. And then he faced Leotis Martin, and Martin outboxed him. Walked out the ring, called out Joe Frazier. He had been chasing Frazier for a while. Finally, it looked as though he was going to get his world title shot, and he suffered a detached retina and had to retire. So that was a great wee story. Another great wee story was Prince Nazim Hamid and Antonio Barrera and his penultimate fight, which he lost on points and was dreadful, and absolutely dreadful. I listened to the podcast that the BBC did with Mike Costello, Steve Bunce and Carol Froch, who was a massive Naz fan, who went to the fight in Las Vegas and came away really, really disappointed. But hey, what a story. I was never a Naz fan, never really got the guy, but I don't like these kind of overbrash fighters. But I changed my mind after I've read a lot and listened to a lot, and I'm going to go and watch the fight in some kind of detail this time, because I'd watched it kind of like scantily before. I'd kind of skimmed through it, but this time I really want to have a good look at it, because I do think that it's important that you go back and you look at things with fresh eyes. But Naz changed the world. And one of the things I didn't know, and I read in Boxing News, was he employed a guy to put statistics together for his fight, most of his fights, and this guy realised that he could get statistics from here, there, and everywhere, and started to put them together in a database, and eventually launched it online, and it's BoxRec. For those of us who are into boxing and do any articles on boxing, BoxRec or Boxing Records is the Bible. And we all go there in order to have a look at what the statistics are and find what happened in the fights. So, because of Naz, boxing's back. I haven't looked it up, but it was due in quite a few places overnight. Mexico, China, and so on were due to have fights. So, it looks as though we're getting combat back. And the other thing that I watched during the week, and I really enjoyed it, was Notorious, the Conor McGregor documentary, and it brought me a new appreciation of McGregor. It's easy to, and I think that's the other thing with moving from Naz into McGregor. The both of them are showmen. The both of them have really done an amazing job in terms of popularising their sport and bringing a new dimension to it. And I certainly have a very, very different view of Conor McGregor after watching that than I had before. What an absolute warrior! What an absolute guy! There are things going on in his life at the moment that I hope aren't true, which will change again people's views and perception of McGregor. But in terms of his ability in the MMA ring, and it took you right up to the point where he was shouting his mouth off at Floyd Mayweather. So that's been my week in terms of writing. And what also, in terms of tutoring, there's been an explosion. I've gone from losing all my face-to-face to now being full of online tutoring. It was something I avoided. I didn't know if I would like it. I didn't know if I could do it very well. And it's actually great fun, and I really quite enjoy it. It's been good. So I've got tutees all over England now to add to the ICS Learn stuff that I do online as well, where their grades are due to be submitted now. So yeah, it's all been good this week, though we're still in lockdown to an extent. We're beginning to see easing of it. More local authorities posting zero, but hopefully this time next week we won't be talking about Black Lives Matter. We'll just be seeing that people are proving that they do. In the meantime, till then, bye for now.